To help us today, we have Professor Hyman and Professor Lee. They study how trust helps build relationships. Today, Professor Hyman and Professor Lee will be helping us answer this question. What does trust have to do with what we look like? What is trust? Trust is what friendships are made of. Trust is believing that a person is a good person, and trust helps us interact with one another, accept new people into our lives, and build relationships. Phase 1. The professors asked a group of 100 8 to 12-year-olds how much they trusted and liked one another. They called this real-world trustworthiness, which is the ability to actually form trusting relationships with people. Here are some examples of the questions researchers asked. How often does this person keep the promises he/she has made? How often does this person keep the secrets he/she has been told? The classmates were asked to rate their peers, most trustworthy and least trustworthy. Phase 2. The professors took 100 photos of the 8 to 12-year-olds and showed these photos to two groups of strangers, one group of adult strangers and another group of kid strangers. Phase 3. Based on these photos, the professors asked these groups one question. Would you trust this child? Did the adults trust the wrong children? Did the children trust the right children? Did the opinions of the adults match those of the peers? Let's find out. Results. Based on these photos, the adults' and children's opinions matched those of the peers. They rated the children who were actually trustworthy as trustworthy. Major differences. Children trusted girls' facial expressions more than boys' facial expressions. Children overall trusted less than the adults did. Major conclusions. Conclusion 1. Facial trustworthiness can tell you how well someone is trusted in the real world. This study shows that you can determine a person's trustworthiness by judging their face. Conclusion 2. The trustworthiness of a child's face can predict how their peers will socialize with them and whether or not their peers trust them. Conclusion 3. How children interact socially with the world is impacted by the world's trust in them. The more trusted a child is, the better their behavior is in social settings, and the less trusted a child is, the worse their behavior is in social settings. This study is one of the first studies done on facial trustworthiness. There is a lot to learn. What are some possible ideas for future research? Professors had a limited age range. Testing younger children may produce different results. Testing other cultures as well may produce different results. The children in the study only knew each other for 2 years before they rated them. Future research could look at longer friendships to rate trustworthiness. Does wealth affect one's ability to trust? Future research could compare the trustworthiness of wealthy children versus poor children. Discussion questions. Do you think it's fair to judge someone's trustworthiness based on their face? How trustworthy do you think your face would be rated? Why do you think children generally trust girls more? What about children generally trusting less people?
Created using Powtoon.